Hello and welcome to this video. Since it's a new year, I figure there are people out there who want to read more in 2026. So, as someone who reads a lot and then talks even more about the books I read on the internet, I thought I would give you some tips on how to read more this year. All right, first of all, you gotta start with a goal. You gotta start, I wanna read this many books in this amount of time. Or if you're coming back to reading after not reading for a long time, you've never really been into reading, but you wanna figure out what the big deal is, start with a time. Instead of saying you wanna read a certain number of books, say, I want to read this amount of time in this amount of time. So, for example, that could be, I want to read 15 minutes every day. Or it could be, I want to read for 1 hour every week. I think the time limit goal works better if you're getting into reading, because if you're getting into reading for the first time, you're not going to know what you like. And if you don't know what you like to read, you're not going to enjoy it right off the bat. You're going to have to kind of figure out what you like to read, how you like to read, and that's going to take some time. So if you've got a goal of like number of books and it's taken you several months to just finish one book, you're going to feel unmotivated to continue with your goal. Whereas if it's just a time limit and it's 15 minutes every day, that's easier to achieve if you're just getting into reading for the first time. All right, that kind of leads us into our next topic, which is you've got to find what you enjoy about reading, specifically what kind of books you like to read. Do you like nonfiction or do you like fiction? When it comes to fiction, is there a specific genre you like? You want to read as many books as you can to figure out what you do like to read. And don't be discouraged if you pick up a sci-fi book and you don't like it. That's okay. There are other genres out there. Maybe you like horror. Maybe you like romance. I don't know. But you got to pick up a book in that genre to find out. When it comes to nonfiction, maybe there's a certain topic that you're really fascinated by. Read books in that topic. Once you find the books that you enjoy reading, it's going to be a lot easier to read because you know what you like and what you don't, and you'll just be going after the things that you like. Next, this is kind of similar but different. Find your preferred format. You can read on an e-reader, you can read a physical book, or you can read audiobooks. All of them are reading. None of them is worse than the others. All of them count as reading. So find whichever one works for you best. For me, I personally like reading physical books and listening to audiobooks. I do a little bit of both, but I really don't like reading ebooks. So I try to stay away from ebooks as much as possible because I just don't like that format. For my husband, he is an audiobook reader. He's found that if he wants to get through a book, he's most likely to finish it if it's an audiobook. He can listen to the audiobook for one book and find another similar book that he likes just as much, but if he's reading it physically, he's less likely to finish it just because he gets the information better and enjoys it better if it's an audiobook. We're all a little bit different, so find whichever your preferred format is, or maybe you're like me and you like a couple of them, that's fine. But that will help you to enjoy reading more too. And if you enjoy reading more, you read more. My next tip is to read more than one book at once. I'm not saying too many. I'm saying maybe like pick 2 books that you want to read. But the reason I recommend this is have 2 different genres, 2 different vibes, 2 different, like they need to feel like different books. Because even for me, someone who loves reading, who reads daily, there are times where like I'm in the middle of a book and this is a great book, but I want to read right now, but I don't want to read this. It just doesn't feel right. I'd rather read something like this. But if I'm not also reading this, if I don't have both of them sitting on my nightstand, then there's a good chance I'm just going to say, you know what, I won't read tonight. I'll just scroll on TikTok a little bit longer before I go to bed. But if I have 2 options, then I can choose whichever option feels right in that moment, you know? So that's something that helps me to read more, and it might help you to read more too. And also if you're trying to find what you like, that's also a good way of finding what you like sooner, because you're kind of reading multiple things at the same time and you can be taking in multiple things. Next, if you don't like a book, you're not jiving with it, DNF it. Or if you're just like, wow, this seems like a great book, but I don't have the brain power for this right now. I'd rather come back to it later when I am in a better headspace. Great. Put it off till later. This isn't school. You are not reading for school right now. You do not need to turn in a book report or an essay on this book next week. If there's a book that just doesn't feel right now, close it, put it back on the shelf, return it to the library, whatever you need to do. Because if you try to force yourself to read something you don't like, then it's going to reinforce that reading isn't for you. You're like, oh man, I'm not enjoying this book. Therefore, I must not enjoy reading. Therefore, I don't ever want to read again. Wrong. You just don't enjoy that book right now in the moment. Maybe you would enjoy reading if you were reading a different book. So don't be afraid of DNFing books. It can be a permanent DNF or a I'm coming back to it DNF, whatever. Put it down. Don't finish it. This isn't school. My last tip for you is keep track of the books you're reading or the time that you're spending reading. Being able to look back at what you've accomplished already so far this year will motivate you to keep reading for the rest of the year, for the rest of your life. It'll motivate you and remind you that you have found some good in reading. You have found something that you enjoy about it. So keep coming back to that, and it'll remind you to keep coming back to that. And that's it. Those are my tips. I hope these help you. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you need some more tips, you want to know how to find books, where to find books, how to build a TBR, that kind of thing, I have some tips for you on that front in this video. So you can check that out if you choose to. If you have any tips of your own that you would like to contribute to the conversation for other people who are watching this video, put those down in the comments down below. I would love to see those as well. And with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me ramble about reading, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.